For those of you that don't know me, my name is Lori Irwin Johnson, and I am the spiritual leader for today. So if this is your first time here, I'd like to welcome you. And if you've been here before, I'd like to welcome you back. I'm always glad to have you here each and every Sunday at Unity of Tacoma. So I'm so glad that you're here. I have a talk today that will kind of address what's going on in the world today. And the talk title is A Spiritual Response to the World Today. And I know many of you have probably been watching the news or catching it on your news feed, on your Facebook, or wherever you get your news, that the headlines are not very promising right now. We have some difficulty going on. There's a lot of dissent, a lot of things that can make us upset and angry, and maybe even afraid. So I want to talk a little bit about our spiritual response to what's going on in the world. So we're going to be talking about that today. I do want to invite Victoria, though. Do you have announcements for us, Victoria? You're muted, dear.
Okay, unmuted. Good morning, everybody, and I'm so grateful you're here. For announcements today, first of all, the weather here in the Pacific Northwest appears to be about the best in the nation. Yahoo! Also, as you may have gathered, we are on YouTube for our services from 10 till approximately 11. Prior to that, at 9:15, we're on our Zoom. And that Zoom address, once you get it, is the same every week. And on Zoom from 9:15 until 10, we have kind of a check-in and prayer time. And we extend the service in Zoom also to be able to continue to converse and be able to share more. Pretty special time. The part from 10 to 11 is on YouTube and is public, so that you can rewatch or watch the service for any time you like. I'm glad to report that we are back in business on sandwiches. And because of the holiday, the sandwich making was postponed until July 19th, Saturday, July 19th at 11 o'clock. At the South Surge Building at South 54th and South Tacoma Way. I've checked ahead in the calendar, and it looks like the first Saturday of the month, commencing in August for the rest of the year, is going to work for our sandwich making. So we'll be back on a regular schedule the first Saturday of the month. And just this month, July, is different. So July is the 19th of July, and after that it will be the first Saturday of the month at 11 o'clock as usual. We have the first Monday of the month is the Resistance Choir that is growing, I understand, and they are having so much fun doing it. That's on Martin Luther King and about South 16th at the People's Center at 6:30 p.m. the first Monday of the month. And I think that pretty much runs me out of announcements at this point. We're looking forward to the Lavender Festival in Sequim, which also is the weekend of the 18th, 19th, and 20th of July. And the weekend of the 12th of July is the Olalla Lavender Festival, which many people are participating in. We just want to be safe and enjoy our summer and revel in it. Anything else, Lori?
That's all that I can think of. Thank you, Victoria.
You're
Great
welcome.
job. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you too. It's so glad to see you.
Thank you. All right. Well, we are going to go right in from our announcements to the prayer for protection. So for those of you who know the prayer for protection, please say it with me. For those of you who are new or unfamiliar with it, it is on the screen, but it looks kind of funky. It is on the screen for you. So let's pray. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us.
us.
The power of God
God
protects
protects
us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. So let's just take this moment as we're looking at this beautiful flower in front of us. Just take a breath and appreciate what we have right here and right now. Everything that we have been experiencing the last couple of days with the holidays and family and all of the busyness of life, let's just take a moment and let's become still. And let's just appreciate where we are. There's nothing that we need to think about, worry about, ruminate on. There's nothing that we need to rehash or to think about again and again. Right now is where we are. Right now is where we always are. So let's appreciate it. Let's appreciate how our bodies feel in the chairs that we sit in, and the relaxation of being with our friends and family right here on Yet Unity of Tacoma. Because right now is all we have. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow is not here yet. And we always and continually live in the present moment. So when we come from that space, when we come from that space of living in the present moment, then all we have is the peace of right now. How we respond in this moment is what dictates what will happen in the next moment and in the next moment. So as we take a breath, as we sit in this time of reflection, this time of preparedness, waiting to hear the message for today, we say thank you for this now moment. We thank you for the healing that we can experience right here and right now. We thank you for the community that we have, that we can share right here and right now. In this moment, we're so grateful. And in the next moment, and in the next moment. And so it is. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Lori.
Let's go ahead and move right into our affirmation for today. Our affirmation: in every moment, I am free to choose love, to create meaning, and to be presence of peace. Let's say that again. In every moment, I am free to choose love, to create meaning, and to be a presence of peace. Again, when we're coming from that just right now moment, right now inside our bodies, we can create peace. And as we create this peace within ourselves, it ekes out into the world, that everything around us becomes touched by that peace. So today we are here to create peace and to seek comfort with each other, to find clarity and courage and maybe a new way of seeing things. So as we look around us today, whether we checked our Facebook feed this morning or our Google search or whatever it is or wherever it is you get your news during the day, sometimes, especially today and lately, we've seen a lot of turmoil, a lot of fear, and quite frankly, a lot of injustice. And it's easy to become overwhelmed because we're bombarded with it. It's everywhere. And the news, of course, is always slanted towards negative things because our brains want to grasp on to whatever it is that could be a danger. So the media just exploits that and starts throwing out the negative things in the world. I have this news feed that I love that is just positive news. And that's all they do. And so when I feel overwhelmed, I'll just go over there and say, you know what, that's enough. I check enough news to keep informed, but I try not to stay too much in it because it's depressing. It can make you angry and a little bit afraid, like I was saying before. So we're seeing a lot of things happening right now. And you may have seen that there are people being detained and deported, and their families who are separated. And there are plenty of communities that are living in fear and don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day. And the things that have happened in our legislation that make things so uncertain. But in that storm of all of the stuff, I was reminded this week of a voice that has inspired me when things get tough. And his voice is very soft, but it's pretty insistent. And it's reminding me that even in the darkest night and during the lowest of lows, there is light. And even in captivity, there can be freedom. And so many of you know him and know his voice and probably have read his book. The voice belongs to Dr. Viktor Frankl. And Viktor Frankl was a psychiatrist and a Holocaust survivor, and he wrote Man's Search for Meaning. Now, his story then was one of suffering, but it offers us not only insight on what it means to persevere in suffering, but it also allows us a way forward. So for those of you who are not familiar with Viktor Frankl, and I'll give you a brief bio. He's got a very long bio, but this is just a summary of what happened to him. Viktor Frankl was imprisoned in Auschwitz and other Nazi concentration camps during World War II. And he lost everything. He lost his parents, he lost his wife, he was a psychiatrist, so he lost his career. He lost his identity as a doctor, all of his clothes, everything that he owned, and even lost his name. And he became a number instead of a name. And he was he shared his number quite a bit. It was 119104. And I think it was he served as a reminder for him of what he had gone through and what he had experienced, and that he had transcended that. So he had lost everything. Everything external was completely stripped away. And of course, he was imprisoned in these awful camps. But one day, when he was standing, he was barefoot in the snow during roll call at the beginning of the day. He was hungry, he was cold, and he was in despair. And he made a decision that would change his life forever. And perhaps you can kind of think of him as a way or an idea or a concept that can help you transcend what's going on in the world today. He realized that although he could not control his circumstances, he could certainly control the way that he responded to his circumstances. He could control his response. He wrote in his book, "Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." I'm going to read that again because I think we need to hear that again. Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. So this decision to choose the inner response, his refusal to let his captors take his spirit, became his form of survival. He imagined himself, and so this is the beauty of our wonderful imagination in our brains. He imagined himself giving lectures after the war on the psychology of being in these camps. He pictured his wife's face, and even though he didn't know what happened to her, whether she was alive or not, and he created this future in his mind, and this vision gave him a purpose to endure what was going on in the present moment. So he learned that meaning can be found even in the struggle, even in the suffering. Not because suffering is good, but because human beings are meaning makers. And that's the beauty of our brain. It's always seeking to solve a problem and find meaning. So when we find purpose, and when we understand that what's happening to us is not something that is who we are, it doesn't identify us, but it's how we respond to it that identifies who we are. It is that that space where we find meaning when we struggle. And so Viktor Frankl remained free even when he was imprisoned in the prison camp. And so let's bring our focus into what's happening today. Now, of course, our circumstances personally are not the same as Viktor Frankl, but we are experiencing things in our world today that are sometimes scary. So here in the United States, where we have this land of possibility and hope, we're watching this fear take over like it did at that time, where there are immigrants and refugees and people seeking asylum that are being detained and imprisoned. People are living in the shadows. They're afraid to go to work, to school, to church. And so let's be honest, it's not just those being targeted who are afraid. I'm afraid. I know people I've spoken to who are afraid. And many of us feel powerless. And we're really unsure of what we need to do. And of course, we just don't know how to respond. Many of us respond with anger, with panic, with fear, with apathy. We just don't know what to do. We don't know how to respond. But I believe that Viktor Frankl's wisdom offers us more than just comfort. It offers us a path forward. It actually allows us to have a spiritual response to a negative circumstance that's happening in our world. And it was a reminder that we are not powerless, that we also can choose how we respond. We can respond with our hearts, with our voices, and with our actions. And we need to do that, and it matters more than ever before. So I want to be clear, I'm not saying what's happening in our country is something that we condone, and it's more than a political issue. It's a social construct that we're dealing with right now. It is a spiritual crisis. It is a test of our collective consciousness, who we are and where we're going. So who are we when those among us are labeling others as criminals? We are labeling other people who are seeking asylum, who are seeking safety. We are judging and imprisoning those people simply for being born in a place that's not safe and that they're seeking a better place to live. I know my ancestors did that. My ancestors didn't come from the United States. They came from Europe. I have Irish and German ancestors, and they came here seeking freedom, just as it was promised to them. And so there are people who are also seeking freedom, not from the fact that they want to have a prosperous life, but many people are seeking freedom because they are living in a life that's dangerous for them and their families. So at this time in history, we are asked to make a decision. Will we choose to be fearful and compassionate, or will we turn away, or will we lean into it? Will we allow despair to become the paralysis that we deal with, or will we find meaning in what's happening, and will we take action that's appropriate? Now, we also often think about spirituality and religion and something that we don't mix what's going on in the world, politics and religion. Everybody talks about that, and that may be true. However, throughout history, people of faith have been taking a stand when times got tough. So I'm going to use some examples. So Moses, way back in the day, stood before the Pharaoh and said, "Let my people go." Way back in the day, way long time ago, Jesus broke bread with tax collectors, and he said, "Whatever you did for the least of these, you did for me." The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, welcomed refugees into Medina and called for justice for the oppressed. The Buddha taught compassion and right action towards all beings, not just those within our tribe or our nation. And Dr. King, Martin Luther King, reminded us that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So when we are in good company, when we choose to respond in this spiritual way, we choose to respond with love, when we choose to see what's happening in the world and say, this is not who we are better than this. Viktor Frankl did not survive because he was stronger or smarter or luckier than anyone else that was there. He survived because he had a vision of a future. He believed his suffering would not be meaningless. He chose hope again and again and again, even when he was faced with this daily horror. And today, we are called to do the same, to choose hope again and again. Now, I'm not saying that hope today means that we're closing our eyes and pretending that everything's okay. And that's not what hope is. It doesn't mean we have vague platitudes and empty prayers when we say, oh, our thoughts and prayers are out there. That's not the same. Hope is gritty. Hope is action. Hope is love made visible. So we need to take a stand with our hearts, with our love, with our actions. What is it that we are expressing in the world that brings hope to others? So what might this hope look like? So hope may be listening to the stories of the suffering, not turning away or getting busy or distracted, and not silencing them, really being present and listening. Hope also looks like speaking up to our leaders in our communities, to say what needs to be said on social media, using our voices to say, this is wrong, we can do better. Hope looks like showing up at vigils, at courtrooms, at the border, and at the local food pantry, or to make sandwiches with us once a month. It looks like doing your part, whatever that part is. Hope looks like sanctuary. So we're making space in our hearts for those that need it. We may be opening our homes, our churches, our organizations to help those that need to find hope. We're providing sanctuary in our consciousness and in our hearts. Hope looks like policy change. It looks like advocating for changes in laws and for rights for those who need more help and due process and dignity. I mean, that is what we rely on in this country. So let's be that beacon, that light that says, yes, we have these things. We are afforded these rights. And so other people should have them too. And hope looks like teaching our children to see humanity in every person, no matter their background, their language, their legal status, their abilities in any way, their orientation, where they are in their lives. Just meet them where they are. Teaching children how to accept people as they are and to learn to love in all those special ways. It was Viktor Frankl who taught us that no one can take away our freedom to choose how we respond. So I want to say that again. No one can take away our freedom to choose how we respond. And today, I'm asking us to choose hope. I'm not asking for blind optimism, but I am looking for the deep, courageous belief that love is stronger than our fear, that justice is absolutely possible, and that we are not alone in the work of healing this world, that together we have the strength to be able to do what we need to do. If all we do is come together in prayer, that is enough energy to move the needle just a little bit forward. Viktor Frankl then coined the term logotherapy. based on the Greek word logos, meaning meaning. So he believed that finding meaning is not a luxury, but it's a survival skill. We need to find meaning as a way to move forward as a human species. And I don't know about you, but I like to people watch every once in a while when I'm out. And I notice that people go about their lives a little bit on automatic pilot. You know, they're not thinking, they're not paying attention, their intentions and attentions are somewhere else. They're not seeing what's happening in the world today. They're not seeing the individual on the corner that's sitting there with a sign asking for some food because they don't have work. They're not seeing the individual in the store who's struggling with their cart because they have a disability and they're unable to have a cart for them to drive instead of push. And so there are lots of things that we see that our minds may block out because we have our own things to deal with. We have our own struggles. We have our own things that problems we need to solve. But when we go out into the world to find meaning, we are looking for what is meaningful in the world. And what is meaningful are the hearts and the minds, the thoughts and the struggles of what the people in the world are experiencing. And we can't turn a blind eye to what's happening in the world whilst going about our lives, taking care of ourselves. And I know when we're in fear response, that is what we do. We need to take care of all the things. We need to get the grocery shopping done. We need to make sure that we have our list ticked off and we are able to get to work on time, and all of these things that happen each and every day to create our own survival. But we need to remember that there are others out there who are just struggling just to be. They don't have the luxury of going to the grocery store. They don't have the luxury of having a job. They don't have the luxury of having a home. And so when we go out and we're looking for meaning, we're seeing all of those people in all of their experiences. It doesn't mean that we have to get pulled into their suffering, but it does mean that we can help by being that light in the world, to be able to provide hope, to provide that smile to that person sitting on the corner, to be able to help that individual who is struggling with their cart in the store. We can do those things and be intentional about it. So what meaning can we find in each and every moment? Because again, as I was saying in prayer, all we have is the right now moment. Are we struggling? Are we focusing on the things that we need to do because we feel threatened, that we are afraid, we are listening to what we're hearing, and we need to act now to be able to keep ourselves safe? Or do we come from this moment of peace, this moment where we are more than we can experience in ourselves? When we awaken to compassion, we awaken our own courage. I want to say that again, because I think it means a lot. When we awaken our compassion, we awaken our courage. So maybe our compassion wakes our voice up that you didn't know that was there. Now I have a voice, but sometimes I keep it to myself because I don't think it's appropriate or I don't want to offend anybody. But sometimes your voice needs to be heard. So maybe it awakens that voice that's been silent for a while. So let this be your roll call moment, like the one that Viktor Frankl had, where he was standing in line barefoot in the frozen snow. Your world may feel cold and unjust, or you may feel afraid and you're in survival mode, but you are still free. You're free to love. You're free to serve. You're free to stand up and say, this is not the end of the story, that I can create more in this moment. I am not stuck in this narrative. I can change, and I can change it for others. I believe that the future that we have and that we have to look forward to is not something that we wait for passively. And when we're talking about Viktor Frankl, when he was struggling through that torture that he's experiencing in the internment camp, he was envisioning what it was that he was going to experience when he was not in that moment. He was creating his moment in the future. And so when he was faced in that time, when he was standing in snow, he was like, this is not the end of my story. I have a plan. So we are in the process of creation each and every moment. We are creating every time we choose how to respond in the moment. We can be kind in the moment. We can be loving in this moment. We can be peaceful in this moment. And from that loving, peaceful moment, we have broken down the barriers for those people around us to experience that peace and love in the moment. And then we can find connection and compassion with each person that we meet. So I'd like you to take a moment, just a moment with me, to close your eyes. And I'd like you to imagine in your mind's eye a future where children never have to cry because they've lost their parents, to whether it be deportation or illness or anything else. Imagine a future where there's no fear for those children, that we can find, even in their despair, that we can provide them comfort. We can maybe imagine a future where we welcome those people seeking asylum, people who are immigrants, like my ancestors, and most of Americans' ancestors were. They were seeking peace and asylum where they were going here, and when they showed up here in the United States. We can imagine a future where justice is not reserved for those who have the money or who are privileged, but justice is shared by everyone. And I would like to finally think about a future where we remember that we belong to one another. That even though we have our individual lives that we need to focus on our own thriving, we need to remember that as a whole, we are a community, whether it be a community in your family, a community in your neighborhood, a community in your church, community in your city, country, in the world. We are a world community, and each and every person is as important as the other. And then when we remember that, we create that reality. So this future I'm talking about doesn't happen in the White House. It's not just on the floors of the House of Representatives or in the Senate. It begins in our hearts. It doesn't begin tomorrow. It begins right now. And it's not for someone else to do, but it's for something for me to do. I want to finally leave you with this thought. Viktor Frankl once said that the greatest task for any human being is not to endure suffering, but to find meaning. And in that meaning, you can transform your suffering into something that is redemptive, something that brings you up, that uplifts and brings you joy. So from that despair, you can become more enlightened. I don't know if many of you have ever experienced a time in your life where you have struggled and you've like, how am I ever going to get through this? And then all of a sudden you realize that this is what I needed to make the change. So I think of this as a process of change, change for the better, change for what will be. Sometimes we need to hit rock bottom in order to bounce back up. And so here we are looking at where we need to go. Where can we move up? And we can find meaning in what's happening. Viktor Frankl believed, as I believe, that when we do this, we're no longer victims of what's happening in our life and in the times that we live in. We become co-creators of a more just and kind world. And isn't that the point of unity to begin with? Isn't that who we are and who we've claimed to be? And so I look forward to be able to bring that to the world each and every day. And I hope you do as well. So I'd like to take you into meditation now. This meditation specifically is not about creating peace in the world. It's about creating peace in your body, to be able to create relaxation and healing, because you are the catalyst. And so you need to take care of yourself first. So let's remember to take this moment. It's about a 10-minute meditation on just scanning your body, appreciating what's there, and where you start from as you become this peace in the world. So if you're ready, I'm going to go ahead and share the video. Move this because let's begin by finding a comfortable position, seated or lying down. And allow your eyes to gently close. Take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale slowly through your mouth. And again, inhale and exhale. With each breath, let your body become soft and relaxed. Let the weight of the day melt away as you arrive fully into this present moment. Now bring your awareness to your body. Feel the contact between you and the surface that you're sitting on. And notice how it fully supports you. There is nothing to do, nowhere to go. Just this moment, just your breath. Begin to imagine a warm golden light that's coming down from above you. This light is soft and radiant, like sunlight in the early morning. It's gentle, nurturing, and filled with a sense of peace. You may begin to feel its warmth just above your head. As you inhale, imagine this golden light slowly pouring down through the crown of your head. A soothing warmth that relaxes and heals. Allow it to move down over your forehead, smoothing away any tension there. Down over your eyes and softening them. And all the while it brings stillness to your mind. This golden light moves into your cheeks and jaw, melting any tightness or tension. You may feel a soft warmth in your ears, as though the world is becoming quieter, more peaceful. Feel the light flowing down through your neck and shoulders, gently releasing the weight you've been carrying. Let your shoulders drop just a little bit more. Just let go. Now imagine this healing light flowing into your chest. With each breath, your heart space expands. Calm, open, and steady. You may feel warmth, tingling, or maybe just a sense of ease. This light continues to move into your arms, down past your elbows, through your wrists and into your hands. Allow your hands to rest gently with your palms open, ready to receive peace and healing. As the light moves through your torso, it gently wraps around you, bringing relaxation, restoration, and balance to everything within you. Now feel this golden glow moving into your hips, down into your legs, your knees. Any tightness, any discomfort softens and releases into the earth. The light continues into your calves, your ankles, and your feet. Feel the soles of your feet gently buzzing, vibrating, connected, grounded, and held. You are now completely filled with light. From the crown of your head to the tips of your toes. Breathe in this peace. And exhale anything that no longer serves you. And from this brilliant light, you bring to mind a beautiful meadow. The earth beneath you is soft, supportive, and cool to the touch. Above you, the sky is vast and open, and you feel a gentle breeze brush across your skin. You hear the sounds of the day, birds singing softly in the distance. You smell the scent of wildflowers and earth. You taste the sweetness of the stillness of your breath. And from this place, you receive deep healing and wholeness. The earth knows how to hold you. The air knows how to soothe you. The light knows how to fill you. Stay in this space for a few more breaths. Just being open, grounded, and at peace. Now slowly begin to bring your awareness back to your body. Feeling your body within the space that you started in. Allowing yourself to feel supported on the surface that you're on. You may want to wiggle your fingers and toes to wake them up. And notice the rhythm of your own breath. And feel the steadiness of your heart. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes and take a moment to notice how you feel. Carry this sense of calm and healing with you throughout the day, knowing it is always here, within you, ready when you need it. Namaste. And so as we end this part of our service before we go into our discussion, I'd like to send us off with a benediction. And it reads, yes, the times are hard. Yes, injustice is real. But so is the power within each of us. We're not powerless. We're not hopeless. We are alive. We are free. And we are called. May we choose the path of meaning. May we choose the path of compassion. And may we choose the path of love. And so it is. Amen. I want to thank everyone for being here today. And I would like to take a moment to open up the camera so everybody can see